It's Wednesday, and today we are looking at Luke 16, verses 19 through 31, I think. Yes. There was a rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen, and who feasted sumptuously every day. And at his gate was laid a poor man named Lazarus, covered with sores, who desired to be fed with what fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, even the dogs came and licked his sores. The poor man died and was carried by the angels to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried, and in Hades, being in torment, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham far off and Lazarus at his side. And he called out, "Father Abraham, have mercy on me. Send Lazarus to dip the end of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am in anguish in this flame." But Abraham said, "Child, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things, and Lazarus in like manner bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in anguish. Besides all this, between us and you a great chasm has been fixed, in order that those who would pass from here to you may not be able, and none may cross from there to us." So he said, "Then I beg you, Father, to send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, so that he may warn them, lest they also come into this place of torment." But Abraham said, "They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them." And the man answered, "No, Father Abraham, but if someone goes to them from the dead, they will repent." And he said, "If they do not hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be convinced if someone should rise from the dead." So there we have, I think, Jesus' kind of clearest prophecy of what is going to happen to him, that he's going to rise from the dead. And will the people hear him? When they hear that he's risen from the dead, when they see him, will they believe? It's a good question. There's a lot of interesting things in this little parable. Things about heaven and hell, things about the torment that the rich man suffers. And, he says, "Send Lazarus across the chasm." And the guy says, Abraham says, "No, there's no way to cross that chasm." If you remember C.S. Lewis' little book, The Great Divorce, you'll remember that there's a man in a gray, rainy sort of London suburb who gets on a bus and rides to a wonderful, beautiful park. Green grass, flowers, trees, mountains in the distance, wonderful place. And it's so real that when he walks, the grass actually hurts his feet. And he encounters various people who talk to him about various things. And he finally finds someone who says, "Well, this is not exactly heaven. This is sort of the outskirts of heaven. But you have to come here and walk, and you'll get there." And he says, "Well, I'm not sure I want to." And he says, "Well, you can come here if you want to, but most of the time the bus goes back and people go back, and they're back down there in the rain and the gray." And the guy decides he's not going to stay, and then a terrible calamity happens. And what actually happens is that the books on his shelf fall on his head as he's sleeping on his desk, and he wakes up and realizes it was all a dream. But it's Lewis's way of saying even people in hell, in suffering, can find their way out of it, can find their way to Jesus. All they have to do is want to, and Jesus will lift them out of it. There's a pretty good message there. Even no matter what you believe about heaven and hell, there's some good things there. So I would encourage you to grab a copy of The Great Divorce and read that. It's not a long book, and it's a fun book. You could read it in a day or two, and and then write a book report and mail it to me. Okay? No, don't do that. But find The Great Divorce and read it. I think you'll like it. And otherwise, have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.